I can tell you a story from my first boat if you would like for me to. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. All right. This is an A-gang story.
We're sure not going to understand it?
No, you will. It's a Sands story. It's great.
Oh, poop.
So, it was my first submarine, USS Houston, stationed out in Guam. We're out to sea. I'm getting relieved from watch, and at the end of the watch, they say, "Hey, we're going to pump sands, or we're going to blow sands next watch." And so I tell my buddy, who is relieving, "Hey, they're gonna want to blow sands after or this next coming watch, and I'm going to shoot trash." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And he had a UI with him, and so I get off watch, I go eat, and get done, and I'm standing in TU space, waiting to shoot trash, and I'm just standing there, and all of a sudden I hear this. This sound coming out of the galley, and on a fast boat, when you step out of the door for the TDU, you kind of look over, and there's a little hole that you can look into the galley, and right there at the grinder sink, there's just this brown geyser just shooting up out of
like
the
a
sink.
fire hydrant when a car crashes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just coming up, and it's just coming out of the sink, and it's hitting the overhead, and it's just going everywhere. I'm like, oh my! And you can hear at that point in time somebody screaming bloody murder, like "Secure blowing sands!" Right? And I'm like, oh my god! So I run out of TD room, and I run down to lower level, and as I run down to lower level, there's it's already spilling out of the lower level head, right? So it's coming over the waterway or over the little step, right?
Oh man!
And it's rolling in the machinery room, and my LPO is literally just throwing stuff that he can to keep it in front of it, to keep it from coming in the machinery room, and I'm running around. I'm like, oh, huh?
Wipe down team.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what they needed. So,
Man, the decon station.
Yeah. So I get.
We're gonna put that on the TV show.
I go to run into the. I'm like, what's going on? And I go to run into the torpedo room, where I know my buddy is lining up to blow sands, and he comes bopping up the stove, right? And he's like, "What's everybody yelling about?" And I'm like,
"That sounds like Charlie."
And I'm like, I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? And he's like, "I'm pressurizing sand 1. I'm gonna blow it overboard." I'm like, "You didn't shut the isolation valve for sand 3, did you?" And he was like, "Oh fuck."
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh my god." So I run over. And I pretty much jump over to my LPO, and I lift the deck plate up, and I shut this valve. And there's a lot of pressure on this valve, and I'm running around. Chaos is ensuing, right? And just running over, trying not to step in shit, and all this stuff.
Sorry.
Trying not to.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was trying not to laugh.
God, I love you, Charlie.
He just referenced him, and I didn't even know he was on.
So we love you, Charlie. I'm running around in all this chaos. I'm trying to get everything stopped, and I go to run back up the ladder up to upper level, and something catches me out of the corner of my eye. And so on a fast boat, when you come down the ladder into lower level, there's the head to lower level machinery room, and over here is 21-man berthing, which is the first class berthing, right? And then back here, a little forward, would be the torpedo room, and battery wells right here. But something catches me out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, wait a minute, Mark was wet. And so I stop and I look, and standing in the doorway to berthing is Mark. He was one of the FTs on board the boat, and he is dripping wet, right? And wearing a white t-shirt that is now brown.
Oh.
Basketball shorts.
Oh.
Right. There is a chunk of shit on his shoulder. Oh. And he's doing that lip sucking thing, about to cry that. And I'm like, Mark, man, what happened? And he's like, it exploded. And I'm like, what? So he's in the lower level head, right? And so if you know anything about a fast boat, you're in the lower level head. There's only one stall in there, and you have to open the stall. The stall door opens in. You have to get in, walk around the door to shut it.
Yep.
And there's the toilet.
That's all of them.
The toilet, and it's a knife valve. They don't flush. You have to flush
Chop it.
them. And
Yeah.
right underneath it is the sand tank, directly underneath
And
that.
it just fucking
Right.
blew.
Well, no. So he's on the toilet, right? And in front of him is the water heater and the what we call a fart sniffer, the charcoal filter for the sand tank, sand 3. And my buddy had pressurized it so much that it blew that 2-inch union off, right, for the fart sniffer, and he was sitting there, and it just blew a 2-inch pipe worth of shit right onto him, just and it just doesn't. So in his panic, he can't go nowhere, right, and so he stands up, and for some reason turns around and opens the ball valve, right, and it blows back up into his face. Right,
That's so terrible.
right, and it just covers him. So,
Oh my
so
God.
long story short, my buddy blew 800 gallons of poop into the boat.
Oh man.
Obviously he was disqualified. I had to.
Okay.
What was
Step one.
Yeah, he was disqualified. I had to relieve him because I was an off-going guy. My LPO had to go around with me with the book. My DCA was the officer of the deck at the time. He woke the whole boat up to clean. He's like
Oh, it's
shipmates.
turn 2, commence field day.
He's like shipmates is the officer of the deck. We have a very big mess on board the boat. We need all hands on deck to get this cleaned up. They pretty much, I think they shut the galley down for a few days to clean it because it was back in the waterways. All the pans were and everything, and they had to disinfect everything.
Wow.
It was horrible, right?
That's rather shitty.
Yeah, rather shitty. Yeah, you're 100% correct.
intended or unintended?
Absolutely intended.
Intended, okay.
It's very punny. So
We're fucking children.
absolutely. So we had that. So I had to relieve him. Run around. I was like, sir, you have to give me a tank. I have to empty a tank. Sand 1 is still pretty full. Sand 3 is overflowing. Give me an order to empty a tank. And so he's like, blow sand 3 overboard. So I said, blow sand 3 overboard. So I go line on up. I had to put on anti-seize boots.
Yikes.
Or not anti-seize, but the nuke rubber boots.
Yeah, we know what you're
what are
talking
they
about.
called? I can't remember what they're called.
I don't
think
remember.
that's- but I had to put those on, stand ankle deep in poop. To line up the valves because they're in the lower level head and do that and blow sand 3 overboard, and then I got that done. And then I had to line up blow sand 1 overboard. So yeah, it was fun afternoon. I think we ate like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a couple days.
Yeah.
Till we got to galley fully like betadined and disinfected and everything. But yeah,
Did you really want to eat any other food?
No,
Phoebe
no,
did like, yep,
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna eat this.
no, but yeah. So it was that was a very fun experience on board USS Houston. That boat is now decommed back in 17 or 19. I can't remember what it was.
Bananas.